Now, Ryan, can you talk about energy, because the energy has to shift, and that's obviously a tonal thing that Damien's talking to you about. But you have to shift it because the way Alex is shifting between certain things is very specific, and there's masks going up and masks going down. What did you have to do to sort of keep it clear in your mind exactly where he needed to be and where he wanted to be?
I mean, that was all pre-production work. So we did a lot of
Got it.
fine-tuning before the film was even started. I had a lot of questions for Damien. I'm sure we had countless meetings, and I was always in his ear about something, trying to figure out where he wants this character to go, and figuring out on my end as well. But honestly, when it came down to actually shooting, it was like three kids playing. Me, Kyle, and Alex, we played off each other. Alex was incredible as the demon, There were times where I was just like, how do you not have better representation? How have you not blown up already? Like, what's going on here? And then Kyle Gallner, he's just freaking incredible at what he does. He brought a life to his character and a relatability to a somewhat greedy person. But again, for me, it was feeding off of them. And a lot of, like I'm sure you've seen in other interviews with other actors, it's a lot of acting is reacting. And I was reacting to them and the notes that I was getting from Damien, what we had worked on previously.
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I command you to give me your name.
And cut.
Now, was there something, Damien, in terms of truth with this character that you wanted to hit? Because nobody's innocent, and that's what we see in all these little points, is that everybody has a secret to hide. Everybody has a sin to pay for. And that's the whole sort of construct and the complexity of this, especially when you go to the sort of the wider world.
Mind if sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think the beauty in what Damien wrote is something that we as a whole and the audience can learn. We've kind of forgot about that when we have a conversation, we're not just having a conversation to talk at the person, but to also learn and listen about ourselves. And that's what beautiful writing can do. It can make you question yourself, and it can make you understand another and empathize towards another at the same time, if it's done correctly. And I think Damien did that correctly.
Yeah, you really kind of read my mind there. I think that it's about making something that's relatable and that your audience can sort of see themselves in, which I really did try hard to do that with this movie. I wanted there to be a subtext.
But there's also the iconography of it. I mean, between certain things like, I'll just say like Odes to Legend, which was awesome. The Thing, there's so many different aspects of using, details, using the wires, using everything like that is a crucifix, using the lights as a crucifix. There's all these details. Damien, I wanted to ask you about details important in having those things throughout the set and having them there before. And then for Ryan, using those details to really push it, because the more things you have to work with as an actor, the better the performance will become.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing on the set or nothing that's in the frame is really an accident. That's for sure. And I wanted to open up the entire set to the cast to use in any way that felt natural for them. I think Ryan can speak to this more, but I mean, I do think that if there's anything in particular that you're seeing that's like, that makes sense to me, it was probably intentional. I mean, I didn't have a lot of time to I had this whole movie planned ahead of time, so I didn't have a lot of time to like mess around when we were there. So everything that was there that was planned.
And for you, Ryan, for taking those details and taking those things in your hand and just, I mean, look, even that garment scene is sick, man. So.
Yeah. I believe what I wanted to portray in this character is something that I've seen in my own life, where somebody hits the wall so many different times they finally have to hear the actual lesson at the very end of it, but not necessarily do they retain the lesson. I could picture if we do a sequel that Father Max might go right back into what he was doing before, because he's just that kind of person. He is in a sense a reflection of a lot of people nowadays in their social media. And I always kind of wanted to keep that essence about him, that yeah, these things are hard on him. The actions themselves are making him learn these lessons, and we're seeing him learn the lesson. But as you watch the movie and towards the later end of it, then you start to realize, well, did he learn? I don't know if he actually did.
And my last question for Damien is because I know you cut the movie too, and pace is such an important thing, but it's having those moments of breath, those moments in between the lines, you know, and even if we're just flashing back to other things, those moments where you see Ryan thinking about, or Kyle, are the best moments, and that's editing and pacing. Could you talk about that and how that's sort of a reflection? Even using the Google glasses or the glasses that you guys use, using that as a metaphor is all about it too. Could you talk about that? And then I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, editing has been my career for 15 years. It's definitely my strong suit. And that has made me a better director and a better writer. So understanding pacing and how to, when to take those breaths has been a hallmark of like the work that I've been doing for over a decade. And I'll say one other thing regarding editing is, it has made me a more efficient director too, because I'm only shooting what I'm gonna use. There's no guesswork really. And I also, whenever I shoot it, I know exactly how it's gonna cut because that's what I do. So I think it's a real blessing that I have this skill that I'm able to bring to set with me, and also make me a better writer too, because it shows you never to waste a moment. Don't be boring and don't waste any lines. Everything has to be very intentional.
Nice job, everybody. Good job.
I gotta take that.
Follow monitors, let me lead.
All right, everybody, here we go. 3, 2.
Time to go off script.
I was going to say, as an actor, I can appreciate what Damien did and I've been on multiple sets, different directors, working with Richard Linklater to like whoever it was at the same time. And Damien, to me, is one of those higher ups because there was a level of ease that I could have with him, knowing that he had a specific, train of thought in what he wanted with each shot he had. And as a editor, I could trust the fact that it was in good hands. And then on top of that, he gave us the space to play and have options with it. So as an actor, that's everything you'd wish for from a director. I wish more directors were like Damien. So yeah, it was fun. It was truly awesome to have this experience. And I think in watching the movie itself, it is a fun movie to watch.
Oh yeah. And it says a lot too. That's what's interesting. It's hard to do those two things at once. And you guys did do it, because like at the end, I'm like, shit, all right, this is awesome. But it makes you think. That's the hardest thing with a lot of these films, is that you can have all this fun, but if it makes you think, that's a bonus. And that's what this does. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Cool movie.
Thank you.
And I can't wait for people to see it on Shudder. Have a great day.